Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Italy. It is time for the first edition of the Targa Florio, one of the most iconic events in motorsport history. My name is Jim Davis, and I am your commentator for today, here from the beautiful city of Palermo. Let's have a look on the calendar then. Our 1906 Grand Prix calendar will consist of 5 rounds. 4 will be in Europe, with the final round at the Long Island Road Course in the United States. But today we start with one of the most prestigious and iconic events in motorsport, the Targa Florio, with a stunning length of 72 kilometers. Here's the starting grid of today. Just 10 cars will start today because of a strike in Genoa. Vincenzo Lancia, who will establish his own car brand later this year, starts from pole position in his Fiat. He will compete against the Frenchman Hubert Leblanc and his fellow countryman Alessandro Cagno right behind him. The competitors are ready to start. Vincenzo Lancia starts in front, followed by Hubert Leblanc. And it's lights out and away we go. A very good start of Lancia from the line. He directly pulls a gap. Leblanc is in second and Cagno in third. The crowd is cheering in the grandstand, but they will have to wait for almost an hour for the competitors to return. Cagno tries to overtake Leblanc for second place, but goes wide in the long right corner. Overtaking on this circuit will be very difficult because we are racing on public narrow roads today. You really have to time the right overtake, because one mistake here can mean the end of the road for you. Leblanc is now closing it on Lancia. Still no overtakes here in the beginning of the race, but a long train of cars behind Lancia. Lancia was at the time a chief inspector of Fiat. He was an exceptionally fast driver, often fastest of all, but often suffered a mechanical failure. And there is an accident at the back of the field. It's Ettore Graziano who hits one of the parked cars on the side of the road and Victor Regal who hits him then at the side of his car. Graziano now blocks the road and it seems like it's game over for the both of them. We're going into the village and Lancia has now a small gap over Leblanc. Leblanc, however, is now defending his second place against Cagno. The Italian drivers are clearly the fastest in the opening stages of the race. Alessandro Cagno was a race driver of Fiat, but before the Targa Florio he has switched teams to the Itala team, the strongest represented team in this event. Cagno is closing in really quickly on his French rival. Is he going for the overtake? At the moment, he is quicker than Lancia, so he really wants to overtake Leblanc as soon as possible. There comes Cagno, his first attempt to overtake Leblanc. But he can't overtake him over here. He has to be patient. He was just too far away to try it here already. Cagno has now completely lost the momentum, and now Achille Fournier is closing in really quickly. He is going for the overtake on the inside, pushing Cagno to the outside.
Oh no, Cagno has crashed! Cagno goes off!
What a horrific crash from the Italian! His dreams of winning the Targa Florio are over, and now his car has to be removed from the track because he is blocking the road for everybody behind him. It seems like George Pope can't restart his Itala after stopping it on track. The race is also over for him, as the remaining 6 competitors continue their way around the mountains. Maurice Fournier is under a lot of pressure now, with the Belgian driver Pierre Decaters right on his tail. After the crash of Cagno, Decaters is closing in really quickly on the Frenchman. Here we go on board with Decaters, currently in 6th place overall. His Itala car has 40 horsepower, more power than the Clement Bayard car Fournier is driving. Decaters is now lining up for the overtake, searching his spot. He is choosing for the outside line, but Fournier does defend the inside very well. And then Decaters makes a mistake, going just too far wide and hitting a little wall on the outside. Decaters is now in dead last place, but can he continue? It seems like the Belgian is trying to rejoin the track, but he really has some work to do to catch up again. What a terrible day for the Belgian, although he can continue his race, while a lot of his competitors are already out in the first quarter of the race. Meanwhile, Paul Bablot is closing in on Achille Fournier in the battle for third place. The Fournier brothers both struggle with the car, but are still in the race. How long will Achille Fournier hold onto his podium spot? Bablot is putting more pressure on him now, driving very aggressive through TE corners. This is a very intense battle, because it seems there's only place for one of the on the podium, and everybody wants to achieve a podium spot in this prestigious Targa Florio. Coming down the hill now, Bablot still behind, but searching for a spot to overtake. You have to be wise. You have to be careful here. On board with Bablot, and here he goes for the overtake. An excellent move by the Frenchman, who is now moving up to third place. He directly pulls a gap and is now focused to the man 7 seconds ahead of him, Hubert Leblanc. Looking at the split times, at this moment, Bablot is the fastest man on track, even closing in on Vincenzo Lancia in the lead. Here we have a look at Lancia, comfortably in the lead. Leblanc cannot match his pace, and with the rest of the field further behind, Lancia does have some breathing space. There is still a long way to go for the Italian, because we are not even halfway this race, and Bablot is still going faster and faster in third. But for now, Lancia should just focus on controlling his lead. Here comes the rest of the field, with an exciting battle for fourth place. Achille Fournier is really holding up his brother Maurice, and by doing so gives Descartes the chance to catch up again. Maurice Fournier now can't focus only on his brother, but also has to defend the Belgian Baron behind him. Descartes there tries a very aggressive move towards Maurice Fournier. You can really see him under pressure now. Here on board with Maurice Fournier, clearly frustrated by the fact his brother doesn't let him through.
And oh! He completely lost it! Maurice Fournier is off! He tried a desperate move, but instead went wide off track. And now, there are just 5 competitors left with Decatur's closing in on Achille Fournier.
Achille Fournier has no backup anymore with his brother behind him, and with just 5 competitors left, there are a lot of points at stake. Fournier will give absolutely everything to keep the Belgian behind. He forced him into a mistake earlier before. Can he hold his own against Decatur's? We are focusing now on Decatur's. You can see him closing in on Fournier very quickly. Here he goes to the inside, but there is no room to overtake here. Fournier keeps defending very aggressively, as Decatur's has to get things back together to try another move. There is no doubt that the Belgian Baron will be frustrated by the fact he lost precious time early in the race, especially now he can smell a podium finish ahead of him. But the longer he stays behind the underperforming Fournier, the bigger the gap towards the top 3 ahead of him.
A stupid mistake from Decatur's there.
He does it again! A second mistake! But this time it seems he is much more damaged than the first time he went off. It's game over for the adventurous Belgian, who made an absolute unnecessary mistake. Back at the leader now, and we are halfway through the race. After the start, Lancia has faced no real threat for the lead up to this moment. He has absolutely no idea about the chaos that went on behind him. The Targa Florio has already proved to be a real challenge for the drivers. Only finishing this race is an achievement in itself, and there is no single hint that Lancia is giving this lead away in the second half of the race. Here we see the number 3 overall, Paul Bablot, chasing fellow Frenchman Hubert Leblanc for second place. We get a good view on what the gap is towards the leader of this race, but Bablot isn't giving up on his hopes yet. He now almost completely closed the gap with second place, and if he remains at this pace, a victory is still a possibility. Bablot is without a doubt the driver of the day, with his consistent speed and a beautiful overtake on Achille Fournier. But finishing third is not enough for him. He wants a win and nothing less. Bablot tries his luck on the outside here, with no success yet, although Bablot almost went wide there. Leblanc clearly isn't giving up his second place easily. The Frenchman is a veteran racer and pioneer aviator. He has the experience and the knowledge to defend his position. But Bablot doesn't want to wait. He tries it again over here, going on the outside with more speed than Leblanc. With too much speed, Bablot goes off. Yet another driver who allows himself to be trapped by the Targa Florio. 3 competitors left in this race. And if Leblanc finishes, he is now ensured of a podium finish. But will anyone see the finish of this race? We are now in the final stage of this race. The sun is already setting, but no one and nothing can stop Lancia from his incredible pace. The Italian has led this race from the start, and has extended his lead to half a minute over Leblanc in second. He has finally been spared from any mechanical failures, confident to take the biggest win in his career so far. However, he still has to complete the last kilometers of this race, as he starts his last descent before the finish. In an alternate universe, Lancia retired during this 1906 Targa Florio. He never got to win the event. Will luck finally turn in his favor? He goes past all the retired drivers here, all 7 drivers who retired earlier this race. Just 3 corners to go for Lancia, who hasn't made a single fault during this race. His race was almost perfect, as he goes to the last 2 corners before the finish. You can already hear the crowd cheering, and he comes here in front of his own fans. Vincenzo Lancia wins the Targa Florio. What a result! What a great drive from the Italian! His rivals are nowhere to be seen. With an over 30-second lead of Hubert Leblanc, who we can see on screen now, but the Frenchmen were no match for the Italian today. Leblanc is going to finish in second. There was nothing more he could do today. Achille Fournier is even further behind. The Frenchman was clearly the slowest on track today, but at least he will make it to the finish. We had to wait for almost 2 minutes after Lancia crossed the line, but here he comes into the final few corners. His perseverance to reach the finish will be awarded with a bronze medal, as he is the 3rd and last one to cross the line. Who was your favorite driver on track today? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Here are the final results of the race. Vincenzo Lancia wins with a 35-second march over Hubert Leblanc, with Achille Fournier in 3rd place. The first round of the championship is over, but please tune in next time as we go to France. We hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully see you next time.